Now, earlier this month, Kinshasa, the bustling megacity that is the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, was virtually shut down as a result of an opposition call for people to stay at home over several days. However, the call was only heeded in Kinshasa. And in other towns outside the capital, life appeared to proceed as normal, though some clashes were reported between opposition supporters and police. Meanwhile, inflation in the DRC is now at 50%. And the Congolese franc has lost 30% of its value, making it one of the world's worst performers this year. In addition, the country's central bank is so low on forex, it has barely 3 weeks of import cover left. And of course, all this economic pain is fueling further political instability, with street protests against President Joseph Kabila and a surge in militia attacks, stoking fears that the DRC could slip back into civil war. So with all this going on, how is President Kabila managing to hang on to power? Well, joining me now is the DRC political analyst Okito Tongomo, who's a leading member of the Congolese opposition here in the UK. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So what was the opposition hoping to achieve by calling the strike?
It's a part of the Constitution. We are using a constitutional strategy to make sure that Mr. Kabila respects the value of Constitution. At the moment, the country is going to a difficult situation whereby opposition has requested at many times that we should respect the value of Constitution and have election, which is not been any sign of election coming by Mr. Kabila. So we are using more strategic power to show Mr. Kabila that he's not really in a position to lead the country the way he's leading at the moment.
But who is this type of strike really hurting, though? I mean, is it the ordinary people who will likely suffer greatly if they can't go to market to sell their produce, or is it the government whose members are pretty well off?
I respect that view, because normally a country like Congo, where people live in or not ordinary life, where the people have to work to get something to work to eat. I know everybody's been really in a difficult situation when you have a strike like that one, where the whole country is completely inactive. The situation talking now about what is happening in Congo, everybody in Congo believes that the only way we can have a stable nation and a progress country is by respecting the Constitution. Having a regime that is breaching the Constitution and putting the country in a situation that we are at the moment, there's no way people are going to avoid having a strike.
Yet the strike that you called only really took hold in Kinshasa. It wasn't effective in Bukavu, it wasn't effective in Lubumbashi, it wasn't effective in Goma.
I understand what people said, because of what happened is that you don't have the correct information on what is happening on ordinary citizens. The situation in Congo is so complex. The regime is using excessive level of power, intimidation, illegal arrest. And the people on those cities we're talking at the moment, they have been seriously intimidated by the regime. Even now, the ordinary life was not fully as expected to happen. People respected the strike of the whole country. And I can tell you this, when you mention about Bukavu, I can tell you what is happening in Bukavu on that day. More than 70% of men activity went on the country that day.
Right. Okay, so the basic message is that you, the opposition, want elections to happen as soon as possible. What's been the reaction of the government to this renewed opposition pressure?
It is clear to everybody that the regime is using another strategy to breach the law and to take Mr. Kabila much longer in power, which everybody understands the strategy at the moment. He's putting the country in a difficult situation. At the moment, the whole planet, believe in Congo, is in a chaotic situation. That was Mr. Kabila's plan. He's been using all the strategy to abuse the value of Constitution, allowing himself to stay in the country. Let me give you one more example. Last time I was here, we discussed an issue about 2 United Nations special envoys who were killed in Kasai province. At the moment, the new evidence coming, those people is likely they were killed by the regime. So Mr. Kabila...
Well, that's inconclusive.
But I think it's going to the conclusion.
Because even the UN said that they attribute the killing to a militia group, but there might have been other elements involved. They didn't name the government.
But I think the government has been on issue for... But let me... I don't want to carry on that strategy, but let me tell you something. What happening at the moment, we got more than 3 million Congolese in the refugee camp. We got serious instability in the country. We got a Mr. Kabila having a regime where people calling at the moment a cash machine regime. It's a place where if you're in opposition, you want to get money, go to the government. is a cash machine. There's nothing happening at the moment.
Right.
A recent Global Witness report confirmed that the Congolese regime is a cash machine regime.
Well, you're calling them a cash machine, but the figures we have is that the inflation in the DRC is now at 50%. The Congolese franc has lost 30%. The central bank has just enough foreign exchange left to cover 3 weeks of imports. And of course, all this economic pain fueling further political instability. I want to get your reaction to this. The IMF has offered to send a delegation to the DRC next month to discuss possible aid. Do you think they should?
I think ordinary citizens are going through a lot of difficult situation. We're talking now is due to more likely, but that's my view, and from our personal experience, it has been due to long-term incompetence of the regime. We have got inflation in the country almost every day. 30% of inflation, 50% of inflation, and then we see the devaluation of the currency for 30% in less than 6 months. The story is telling us we're going to a more serious situation at the moment. We don't see any stability coming up. The regime is only leading on the natural resources, and they're using them for their own personal interest. At the moment, Mr. Kabila and his own personal system, the oils are not working for ordinary citizens. They are sending money to the personal bank account. So the situation we got at the moment is because Mr. Kabila refused to accept the constitution and is at the moment using black money. So he's putting the country to a difficult situation. IMF, I understand, they have to help ordinary citizens because the situation is so difficult. I don't think like it's inappropriate, but we believe that they should wait for a credible government to deal with them, because at the moment it's going to be just waste.
Okay. In fairness to them, they did say that before they do that, the DRC must demonstrate a credible trajectory towards political stability.
Which is my argument.
Right. I'm going to have to leave it there.
Thank you very much, Charles.
Okito Tongomo from the Congolese opposition here in the UK. Thank you very much indeed.
I really appreciate it.